I'm not gonna lie to you. This is a very, very cringe one right here. And look, I've been here before. So it's easy to tell somebody what to do until you're actually in it. Y'all be the judge. Let me know what you thought about it if you were in this situation. Yeah, it's one of those.
You need people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers.
I'm just going to give you my thoughts on it, man. What would you do in this situation? I'm going to let the video play. Hopefully, YouTube don't try to come for me. But clearly, it's easier said than done when you're the one that's attached to a person like this. So, married woman cheats on her husband and did it for 3 years with his best friend. Let's get into it.
Been cheating on him for 3 years with his best friend. We had 2 kids, 3 and 6 years old. And he could have walked away, should have walked away, could have. And when all this came out, and I hid it for 3 years in the church, when all of this came out, he looked at me and listen, a good therapist knows your feelings are valid and you can feel all of those things. He was mad. He was hurt. He was confused. He was disoriented. All those things were still true. None of that was underscored or not a part of his experience. But what was also a part of his experience, because he had been submitting and surrendering to the Lord so faithfully for so long, was he literally looked at me, and all I expected him to do was exactly what every man had done in my life, my dad, all these other men, was to leave. And instead, he looked at me and he said, "Casey, I don't know how to not love you." That is when Jesus became my Lord. That is when I got grace for the first time in my life.
You ever watch a video that made you so mad you wanted to report it?
Yeah, forget about that. Shout out to the brother because I got the clip off of him. I want to break this down a little bit because a lot of opinions have been shared on it. And, you know, what I enjoy about formats like this is everyone's perspective can be valid or invalid. And it's so vast in depth with different views on this. Like I see a completely entire alternate universe within this story, whereas the next person is basically just gonna flat out tell you get the fuck on and don't look back. I gotta be honest with you. There's some pushback I have on it, and I'm gonna try to be as neutral as possible. Let's address this first. Christians aren't perfect. Never claim to be perfect. I don't know where this idea came from that Christians are Hasidity and they look down their nose at people. There are people like that, but real Christians who go through things and they struggle with bills, with spiritual enlightenment and lust and all that shit. We are not angels walking around touching people and healing all of their wounds. No, we go through the same temptations every day like you. So in terms of the significance of being under that covering of God in marriage, yes, Christians cheat, Christians step out, Christians are weak and vulnerable. it takes a certain level of your walk and anointing to put you in a position to where nothing on the outside can destroy your household. That comes with experience. The anointing is not just oil just dumped on you or some invisible force or something. It's deeper than that. Your anointing comes from the shit that you eat every single day, from being stubborn and hard-headed and trial and error. It's a exercise of lack of faith turning into faith and testimony and all different variations. So let's go ahead and get that out of the way. Christians have some of the most pressure on them to get it right than anybody else already. Now, in this case, we don't know what the household looked like. The way that this video goes, it doesn't seem like he was really the problem, and she was more or less the red flag. But I'm gonna do it like this. Look at him, and how is it that he didn't know that she had all of this stuff going on before they got married? Look at what she said. She had horrible experiences with men. Everybody walked away from her, so on and so forth. And you could say, all right, she's just up here trying to make people feel sorry for herself. But we got to look at it from two sides. She could be trying to make y'all feel a certain type of way to give her some type of escape from accountability, but also in the same breath, we can't sit here and disqualify the fact that shit, a lot of people are traumatized, don't get help, don't get the proper assistance in dealing with things that affected them negatively overall. So it's just so many different layers to it. I'm not even taking her side or his side, because honestly, I think he didn't do the best job possible to ensure that she was who she was supposed to be at the time that they came together. And she didn't hold herself accountable like a lot of women don't do anyway. So that was already a red flag. Now, there are women who will grow and face their stuff and understand there are protocols, there are roles, there are things that I need to do within myself to cater and nurture this relationship. Most women aren't on that type of time, and so she's one of them women that had a whole lot of things happening, never got it fixed, brought it into a relationship, and this is the results of it. So I put that on both of them. However, it's more on her because of her knowing. She knows exactly what type of time she was on when she met him, even before. Now, let's address this other part that I don't think people really talk about. Um, grace and mercy, right? Because I know everybody is saying, look, go ahead and get the fuck out of there. Ain't no going back to that. And like, to be honest with you, she cheated on that man for 3 years straight. You knew what doing, and you kept doing it. And on top of that, you had kids outside of the marriage with this man's best friend. There aren't many people that's going to return to you. Men find out that another man has entered into their partner in that way. Emotional is already bad. That's probably what fucks us up the most. But you're physically sharing secretions and all of that with this person too. Oh yeah, it's a wrap. Most dudes will crash out and unalive you. You're absolutely lucky and extremely blessed that the guy that you are dealing with has a different level of understanding in his walk, because that absolutely could have gone an entirely different way. You did a number on that man's mental, emotional state, and all that, despite the fact that y'all don't think men have emotions. You absolutely screwed that man royally. And with all of that said, I can understand a person leaving and getting a divorce, and that's your prerogative. But there are people out here that will absolutely fight for this. Now, the only way I can see someone staying in this is through extreme counseling. There has to be some extreme change. Lady, you're not going to be able to lie or manipulate and hold secrets. Your phone has to be open. Your internet browser has to be open. Shit can't be deleted. Everything got to be out there. Everything got to be it's only God's the only one that can repair that marriage, if that's what you so choose to do. Because marriage is one of the greatest things that you can have in a person. That depends on you. Everybody ain't built that way. Everybody ain't gonna be able to go to sleep knowing that the person they laying next to did what they did, and how are you supposed to recover? That's not for the weak at heart. Is it a weak move to take somebody back that was your spouse and stepped out? I don't think it is. It can be, but I don't necessarily think it is. I think it's a case by case. Because to be honest with you, people change. The greatest testimonies come from the most broken people. And when she spoke about grace and she found God through this, I'm looking at it from two ways. Is she using his name in vain and playing on this? Or is she serious? Because if she really found God and found Jesus Christ through this, then how can y'all dismiss that? I don't think people actually touched on that part. Sometimes you got to go through shit to get your relationship right. Being rebellious and hard-headed. And I'm not advocating here that that's what it was, because for all we know, she could just be saying this BS to make it seem like she's rehabilitated. But if it's real, we'll see, I guess. That's why I said I want to know what y'all would do in this situation. Look at every aspect of it first and put yourself in these shoes, and then tell me if you could find it in your heart to forgive this and move forward. This was a very, very interesting one, for real, because you just, like I said, some people will just snap on you, break your neck. Some people will just leave, take you to court, take whatever. Some people, they love you so much that they believe that love will cover all the sins, and that's true. Love covers all sins. Was this something that he's going to regret later? That's the question. Let me know in the comment section what you think. I'm out.
Merry Christmas, filthy animals. And a Happy New Year.